New Jersey-based Johnson&Johnson is set to begin human clinical trials of a COVID-19 vaccine this September. Vaccine development traditionally takes up to 10 years, but Johnson&Johnson hopes to have it ready by January 2021 for emergency use.
Really what we need to do now is not wait, because if we take years to develop this vaccine, you see the impact of COVID-19 on the population. So that's the risk we're taking, is to begin to produce the supply to vaccinate as many people even before we know that it's effective.
Nettles says they began working on the vaccine after receiving genetic sequencing of the virus from China. The company will begin producing large quantities of it before even getting the results from phase 1 clinical trials. Scientists around the world are scrambling to come up with a vaccine. The worry is that once they do, there'll be a shortage, and whichever country gets to it first will likely inoculate its own people before making it available to other countries around the world. This is what happened in 2009 when Australia was the first to come up with a single-dose H1N1 or swine flu vaccine. Is there a risk of that happening here, or is the approach different now?
I think it's very likely this happen, unfortunately, I would say, because pandemic will generate a simultaneous demand for the vaccine around the world. But we need to confirm. So some high-income countries are investing and paying for the R&D and the manufacturing of those for their own population in mind.
Johnson&Johnson has partnered with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services on its vaccine development. But the company promises their vaccine will be available to people around the world, not just Americans.
When it comes time for the distribution of the vaccine, J&J will follow an ethical distribution pattern, making it available to those who are most in need.
Those most in need are those on the front lines, like doctors and nurses who are risking their lives to save others. Karina, CGTN, New York.